Protests today outside the Marion County Sheriff's Office after the death of a girl. Deputies say her mother's boyfriend abused the girl, and now some people are calling on her mother to be arrested as well. Fox 35's Matt Trezza spoke with the girl's father today.
Isabella Comas disappeared more than a month ago. It's a nightmare her mom, Mo, can't wake up from.
I feel like a zombie, Stephanie. This whole thing has been a disbelief.
We spoke over the phone, but Mo wanted to clear up some details, starting with her 21-year-old daughter's relationship, or lack of a relationship, with this man, Tommy Rodriguez.
So I have an update on Paisley Brown, who is the victim of the mother's boyfriend, who is currently in jail right now. And in my last video, I asked you guys, should the mom be charged to go to prison, or I should say go to jail too, because did she know? Well, the arrest affidavit came out. So I'm going to tell you guys what the arrest affidavit said so you guys can actually make a conclusion on if she should go to jail. Plus, Isabella Comas out of Phoenix, Arizona, she is still missing. And her supposedly boyfriend, that I guess he says he is or was, is in jail, and he's not saying nothing. So I have some updates about her too and what her mother's saying. Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV, where I take a look at cases of unsolved mysteries or missing people, or some cases that just need sometimes a different point of view, because I was once a fugitive on the run from a law myself, and that's why it's called Fugitive TV. I did it for 15 years, lived under different names in different countries, so I can look at certain things from a different perspective than what other people can. So right now we're going to talk about the case of Paisley Brown. Now, my last video, I discussed Paisley. She was the main topic of the video, just like this one. But I did notice the video didn't even get, I think, maybe 1,000 views. But every video I put out on Nancy Guthrie has got 10,000 or more views almost. So I realized YouTube is really pushing Nancy Guthrie. So that might be why you turn on YouTube and you see nothing but Nancy Guthrie, because that's what YouTube is pushing right now. But you know what? I am still going to put out these videos on other people, because these other people need just as much of a spotlight as Nancy does. So I have two cases for you. The first one's going to be, of course, like I said, Paisley Brown. And then I'm going to get into the next one, which is Isabella Comas. But first, Paisley Brown. So I did a video on her before, okay? Now you have to bear with me. I have to be careful of what I say, because YouTube is very sensitive to these type of topics. So I have to be very careful on certain things I say, or they won't push this video out like it should be pushed, okay? So Paisley Brown, okay? Paisley Brown was a minor, all right? And we're going to say under 10. And she is a victim, unfortunately, to her mom's boyfriend, okay?
Supporters honked their horns while protesters demonstrated down the street from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. They're calling for deputies to arrest the mother of a 3-year-old girl. Robert Brown says he's little Paisley Brown's father.
I can't even explain how. I mean, it's not explainable how I feel.
Brown says he got a call at work from Paisley's mother telling him something bad happened. Brown says he's the father of several of her children, including Paisley.
A victim to her mom's boyfriend. Now, we're going to get into exactly what he did. And I'm going to try and make it as less graphic as I can, so this video can be pushed out to you guys. So the story is Jerome Jarrell Combs, who was 32, okay, who was described in the arrest records as the primary caretaker of the children in the home. And he is now being charged with what happened with Paisley Brown. All right. Now, in my prior video, I did say that this Jerome guy, now the media is not saying much of it, but I guess he was trying to run some sort of a daycare. I'm still trying to get the facts on that. But he was charging people money, to watch their children. Now I went on social media and I saw other people complaining about this guy, because one lady, she dropped her kid off with him. Something told her to go back and get her. She went back and get her and picked her up, and there was bruises everywhere. She also posted a picture of the bruises as well, which I'm not going to show because I'm not going to put anybody's face out there like that. That's not involved with this case. So there was bruises. Another lady said the same thing. Now they've called and reported this guy before, but nobody's done nothing at all. Matter of fact, this guy also has priors, okay, of assault, battery, and not just with that, but with exes that he's had and also their little ones. But none of them passed away from what he did this time to Paisley. Unfortunately, Paisley passed away from her injuries of what he did. Now, I'm going to try and describe this the best way I can without making it too graphic for you guys, okay? And not only that, too graphic for YouTube, because like I said, they don't like certain things, especially when it comes to certain topics, all right? So what he did was he was watching them, okay? Now, it was more than just one. He was babysitting 5 children, 1 through 9, okay? So he was watching 5 of them. And they were 1 through 9. All right. So 1 through 9, he was watching. Now, Paisley, who's one of the youngest ones, all right, what he would do was he was putting her wrist and ankles together, bounding them to where she can't move or anything like that. And from what they're saying is that she was like that all night long, not just during the day, but all night long. And the reason why he did that was because she was to keep her from going into her own pants and just things like that, you know. Truly horrible situation. And while she was in that condition, while she was like that, he was also striking her. And that is what caused unfortunate circumstances of her to pass. Now, he did call the mom. He supposedly called the mom, right? Now, here's where it gets tricky. Like I said, I reported this before. He called the mom, told the mom, hey, she's not moving. She's not responsive. And 911 was not called till 40 minutes later after the mom came back. Now, there was reports on social media that the mom was out getting her nails done, okay? And that's what social media reports said. Well, the arrest affidavit came back, and we're going to take a look at what the arrest affidavit said on her end, okay? Now, the mother, I'm not going to say her name yet because her name, I'm just going to say JK, okay? For those of you probably watch this and know, you know who JK is. So, this is what she said, her statements, okay? It says, Miss JK advised she responded by asking him, what the F do you mean? Put her on the phone. At the time, the defendant allowed her to see the descendant on video. And she observed the descendant looking pale and limp. So at that time, okay, he called her on the phone, told her what happened. And I guess she said, put her on video, FaceTime. So he FaceTime and showed her Paisley, and she was looking pale and limp. The descendant's eyes were somewhat open, but barely, and under her eyes appeared very dark. Miss JK advised she finished getting her nails done. So this lady was getting her nails done. Finished, keyword, finished getting her nails done. I don't know about you. I don't care what I'm doing. If somebody called me with news like that and they show me the FaceTime, ain't no finishing involved. I'm walking out. I don't care. Ain't no finishing. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm getting out of there. Okay. So Miss JK advised she finished getting her nails done and left the salon. She went back and forth between calling the defendant and her mother on the phone, speaking with both of them. As she drove from the salon back to the house, She stated she asked the defendant what happened, but he did not respond. She alleged she asked him to call 911, but he never did. So she asked him to call 911. Why didn't she take responsibility and do it herself as well if that she's the mom, right? Not only that, this part I didn't know. So she actually called her mom, the grandma too. The grandma didn't call 911 either. I don't know. This one's a little weird. So she went back and forth on the phone between him and the mom. Nobody's going back and forth with the police. Nobody. When she arrived, she observed the descendant sitting in the high chair, limp. She ran over to her, touched her face. She recalled it was cold to the touch. Okay. So she stated she screamed. Then she said she's gone and she called 911. So now she calls 911 when she finally gets to the house and actually sees. This is when the defendant called 911. Other than that, the defendant just stood there, said nothing. So he never called 911 and he just stood there. The call for service was received at 11:38 a.m., 40 minutes after JK learned the descendant was unresponsive. When asked, Ms. JK advised she observed bruises on the descendant's chest that were not present the night before. She stated she asked the defendant about this, but he never responded. Okay. Now, remember I told you there was others in the house? Okay, 1 through 9. And there was 5 of them. And I would love to say all the ages, but unfortunately, this channel, or I should say YouTube, is very sensitive when you start talking on topics and you start mentioning certain ages, they censor videos, okay? So one of the 1 through 9 was a witness, okay? Says, I made contact with the juvenile witness and conducted a brief video recorded primarily, this is very blurry. I made contact with the juvenile witness and conducted a video. An interview. I asked the witness, why was I there? And he advised his sister is gone. She's no longer with us. He then stated he did not see what happened. I asked him who was at the house with when he advised he was with the person. That who was at the house with and who was responsible for doing this to his sister. I asked him to tell me more about which time the juvenile began to tear up, as he disclosed that defendant, okay, has struck the descendant very hard on in the chest. So the juvenile saying that his sister got struck very hard in the chest, okay? When asked if something this was he saw, he advised he did not, that he heard the loud banging. Okay? And he hears it often when someone gets struck. So another interview happened. The juvenile witness were transported to Kimberly Center, where they were interviewed by case coordinators. During those interviews, disclosures are made of physical abuse by defendant. Okay? So the juvenile disclosed descendants were the defendant placed them in handcuffs and struck them. So they're saying that Jerome used to put them in handcuffs and strike them. That's crazy. He also made statements regarding the descendant being struck and also thrown against the wall. So this is pretty much the end of the arrest statement, okay? So you can take it how you leave it. The mom was getting her nails done. She was, so this is the truth. It's an arrest affidavit. And she finished getting her nails done, she says. Now, there was a statement that she did post on Facebook, and I'm not going to show you guys, like I said, I'm not going to put her on blast just yet. But she said the reason why she finished getting her nails done was because she had to wait to pay. I'm so sorry. They're going to have to understand. I got to run out and go see about my child. I'm sorry. Ain't no waiting to do nothing. I got to go.
I dropped to the ground. I didn't get no questions. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know which one. It didn't really matter who it was. I just knew one of them was gone. That was at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't know which who it was until about 4. But it didn't matter. It was one of my babies.
Deputies have charged Paisley's caretaker, Isabella Comas. They say he admitted to causing injuries that led to Paisley's. But these protesters say Comas' arrest isn't enough. They say Paisley's mother, who hasn't been charged, should also face justice.
I don't think somebody should be walking free, and not at least without being taken in, questioned, and then determined by a police officer, okay, you're not leaving.
But that's just me. I don't know how you guys feel, but I gotta go. Okay? They can get their little $50 later, because right now that it's not important. So she said she had to wait to pay. So I have no idea. Now I do know she does have a prior arrest, drug related. I didn't see anything abusive, but drug related. She had a prior arrest with that. As far as Jerome goes, I said in my last video, he shouldn't be breathing with us, but hey, that's just me. All right. Well, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I tried to explain it as best as I can without them censoring the channel on this topic, because they did last time. So please let me know what you think about the mother. All right. Now we're going to talk about Comas. All right. So this next segment involves Isabella Comas. All right. Now I did do a video on her. I believe it was about a month ago, around when this first happened. Not many people was reporting on her at the time when I did this. And then Nancy kind of took over. And Isabella's out of the same state, Arizona, except she's around the Phoenix area, Avondale. So just to give you a brief rundown, this is what happened with her. Avondale Police Department is looking for 21-year-old Isabella Comas. Isabella is Hispanic female, 5 feet 3 inches tall, 110 pounds, with brown eyes, pink hair. She was last seen wearing a baggy navy blue shirt, blue pants with white line going down the side of them, and possibly wearing sandals. Isabella was last seen driving a red 2011 Hyundai Sonata, bearing license plate, and it gives a license plate. Isabella was last seen on January 11th, 2026 at about 3 p.m. Isabella was reported missing after her friend was not picked up for work by Isabella. As per usual, Isabella did not show up to work on January 12, 2026 and cannot be contacted by phone. Isabella's cell phone was located through tracking and was recovered. However, the whereabouts are unknown. All right, so like I said, I did a video on her before, right? Now, what happened with her was she was last seen with an individual. The individual claims that he was her boyfriend. Now, like how I said in the statement before, her cell phone was found. I believe it was found at a recycling center, I believe. Now, what made it weird was her cell phone was found, and the person that found the cell phone gave the cell phone to the supposedly boyfriend, okay? The boyfriend's name is Rodriguez, actually. Tommy Rodriguez, okay? Now, this is what he's claiming was the boyfriend. Now, I'm going to read something what the mom says that's totally different. Well, Tommy received the cell phone first. He had the cell phone before the cell phone was given to the police. So because he had the cell phone, he had access to anything. He could erase anything in that phone that he wanted to. Now, that does not mean that they still can't get any records. Like, you can erase text messages from your phone all day long, but all they got to do is pull the records from the actual phone company like Verizon or AT&T, and then they can get the records. Same thing with pictures, all that stuff. They can still pull it out from the cloud. So some people don't know this, but they can still pull that stuff. So he probably was trying to erase everything he can from that phone. Now, remember I told you the red car that she had. What made it very suspicious and odd, she's missing, but he was driving the car. He was driving the car. So he actually got pulled over and got arrested for driving the car, for stealing the car, pretty much is what they arrested him for, because there's no body, they can't, or her, they haven't found her, so there's no clue of what happened to her. So they arrested him for stealing the car.
It threw us off to hear the whole relationship thing in the media, right? While they did hold acquaintance with each other, there was no loving relationship.
Rodriguez is the only person of interest identified in the case. Detectives believe Rodriguez stole Isabella's car and dumped it in Phoenix the day after she went missing. Police say they found blood inside the car and the passenger seat missing. Mo says she doesn't know how the two met or how long they knew each other, but Isabella told her she made a friend with an older man.
Now, when they pulled him over, the car has been impounded for evidence. He did rip out, the passenger seat. He ripped out the roof liner and some other objects that are in the car. Now, you might ask, why did he do that? My only thing I could think about is the reason why he took that stuff out the car is because he did something to her in the car. And it probably was very violent. And because he did that to her in the car, DNA and everything else probably got on the roof liner, the seat, and whatever. Now, if he had to rip out the roof liner, then yes, something violent didn't happen because a splatter would hit the roof. So he did something to her in the car, and that's why he took all that stuff out. Now, why he was driving a car around like that was an idiot move, and I'm glad he's an idiot, and I'm glad he's in jail because of that. But tried to be smart, but couldn't, all right? So he's in jail right now, but this is what the mom is saying, Phoenix, Arizona, the mother of the missing Avondale woman is asking for public's help finding her daughter and pushing back on details investigators have released about the case. Isabella Comas has not been seen in more than a month. 2 weeks ago, detectives released images of her car at a gas station. The mother disputes relationship description. Comas' mother, identified only as Mo, spoke with Arizona's family by phone, said the man police identified as her daughter's boyfriend was not a romantic partner. It really threw us off to hear the whole relationship thing in the media. They did not have an acquaintance with each other, but there was no loving relationship. Mo believes 39-year-old Tommy Rodriguez, because he was 39, and I believe Comas doesn't say her age in here. I want to say, it doesn't say her age in this one. I don't know why they didn't give her age, but I believe she was only a 20 or 21, and he's 39. I believe that was her age, but Mo said she believes 39-year-old Tommy Rodriguez may have been pursuing her daughter. She said Comas told her she had made a friend with an older man, but Mo said she never met Rodriguez. The way she had met Comas' other friends and past boyfriends, I believe he might have been trying to pursue her. So she's basically saying that she thinks Tommy was trying to pursue her, but Isabella wasn't trying to go that route. Now, Mo said friends of Comas also raised concerns about Tommy's behavior. So the friends even were saying he's got red flags. We spoke to some of her friends and they all share concern for her when it came to Tommy. She would be hanging out with girlfriends or friends from school and he would show up unexpectedly, causing a scene. He was very jealous. Mo said she believes Comas went to meet Rodriguez to end things with him before she disappeared. That would make sense. If he's already jealous of her hanging around friends, and she went to meet with him in person to end something, he probably snapped. Now, Rodriguez is not a suspect at this moment. Rodriguez is the only person of interest identified in the case. Detectives believe he stole Comas' car and dumped it in Phoenix the day after she went missing. Police said they found blood inside the car and that the passenger seat was missing. So like I said, blood was in the car. Something happened in that car. Comas' phone was found in a recycling center in Phoenix. Police said Rodriguez had the phone and gave it to her family, who then turned it over to investigators. Mo said that was the first time she encountered him. All I can say is that he presented himself as a friend, and it wasn't until later when I realized who we were dealing with. So he gave her the phone and didn't tell her hey, I was the last person with her. Very suspicious.
I believe he might have been trying to pursue her.
Mo says Isabella always brought her friends and past boyfriends around, but not Rodriguez. Mo believes Isabella went to meet Rodriguez, trying to end things with him before she went missing.
We spoke to some of her friends, and they all shared concern for her when it came to Tommy. She would be hanging out with girlfriends or just friends from school, and he would show up randomly, just causing her a scene, right? It seemed like he was very jealous of her.
Police told us Isabella's phone was found at a recycling center in Phoenix, and somehow Rodriguez had it and gave it to family. Family then gave it to police. Mo says that was her first encounter with him.
All I can say is that he presented himself as a friend. And it wasn't until later that we realized who we were dealing with. I am hoping that my daughter is alive. She loves her siblings. She loves her pets. She's got a cat here waiting for her.
So the family does hold hope that they can find out exactly what happened to her. So Tommy was not the boyfriend. And in my prior video, I said, now, like I said, she's a young woman. She's an adult. You can date who you want. But I even said in my prior video, kind of odd. Not only that, Tommy, which I told you guys before, already served time in prison for unaliving somebody when he was like 15 or 16 years old. Him and a couple other people, and they were older adults, and he was the youngest one. They were planning on trying to rob a drug dealer. And they knocked on the door, and what happened was Tommy shot through the door before the person even opened the door. Come to find out, the person they shot wasn't even the target. That drug dealer, I guess, moved out the apartment or got evicted, and another person moved in, and then that person ended up getting unalived because of all of that. So sad. So Tommy ended up going to prison over that. He just got out only a few years ago. And even while he was out of prison, he violated his parole for threatening a young lady with, I think it was a hammer. And I think it was a machete. It was one of the two. I have to pull it back up. But he was threatening a young lady with a hammer. Wow. So this guy already has some sort of a violent past. There were some people online defending him, a couple. I think they might have been family. I'm not sure. But we do know that Isabella is still missing. She's still out there. So if anybody has information, especially if you're in the Phoenix area, let people know. We know Nancy Guthrie has dominated the headlines, but still there's other people out there that need to be found. All right. Please like and subscribe. Share the video. Okay. These stories need to get out there just as much as everybody else. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment the city you are watching below, or the state, even the country. I try my best to interact with everybody that's on my channel. We've reached 20,200 subscribers in 8 months, people. 8 months, 8 to 9 months we did that. We are blowing up. If you're returning, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe, all right? Merch is below. It's on the side. Also have the membership where I do updates on cases, all right? This is Fugitive TV. Please take care of one another. Watch out for your surroundings. Till next time, I'm out.